From growing up in a small suburb outside of Chicago on welfare to being televised internationally in 70 countries with 2.2 million viewers, Arik's high energy, experience, and passion for making a difference shows in his speaking, coaching, and writing so vividly.
He has traveled across the United States and Canada speaking to over 400,000 students for numerous important student organizations. He has a commitment to make a difference in the lives of youth, such as they take on their dreams, achieve them, and pass it on to others.
He provides not only the inspiration, but the tangible tools to take a dream and make it a reality. He is an award-winning speaker and a 5-time published author. Make some noise for the dream achiever, Arik Jackson. Woo! I think we broke the mic.
I love it. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm grabbing your paper. Thank you. I know we got 2 minutes. All right. All right.
Sorry,
I got it. All right. Y'all give it up for them real quick. So I noticed a lot of you are standing up. It is okay to come have a seat. I promise I won't bite. Y'all did not sound excited about that. Okay, so look, I just want to do a test real quick to make sure that I'm losing parts of the lavalier here. I just want to make sure our people who are attending via Zoom can hear me okay. So, all right, test. Those of you who are on Zoom, hey, how y'all doing? Good to, well, I can't see y'all, but good to know y'all are here. Can you please type in the chat if you can hear me okay and if everything is cool? And for those of you all, I have a question for you. Can you hear me okay and good without the microphone? God bless my mom for a big mouth. Okay. And by the way, I got really bad jokes and they're going to be here all night. So just go ahead and laugh at them. Now, why you got to laugh so hard though? Have you seen me already? You have, so you already know. You already know. Jerica, are we good back there on? They're great. All right, y'all, listen. Thank y'all so much. My name is Arik Jackson. Super excited to be here all the way from Los Angeles, California. So I am so thankful for the blip in y'all weather right now because I was born and raised here, South Suburb. And the funny thing is I came here, you should see my suitcase. I got sweaters, I got puffer jackets, and I was ready. And I spoke yesterday and I walked outside. I was like, I'm sweating. Okay, let's come out the jacket. So, all right, just out of curiosity, parents, raise your hand. Be proud, be proud. It's okay, like be super proud. Students, raise your hand. Cool. It's okay. Why are you looking like that? He's like, my mom made me come. Like you literally look like that right now, right? So let's see. Arik Jackson, born and raised Southside, Harvey, Illinois. Any of y'all heard of Harvey? Yeah. So born and raised in Harvey. And tonight we're gonna have a little fun. Okay. Is that okay if we have fun? Now, how many of you are here? Okay, some of you are here with your loved ones, and some of you all are here by yourself. Some of you are going to be happy that you're here by yourself because we're going to have a little fun. We're kind of telling the truth on each other tonight. I like to call it lovingly throwing ourselves up under the bus for each other, okay? I said that earlier to students. They were like, my mom's not coming to that. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's okay, right? So how many of you all, what we're going to do tonight is have a conversation about how you can empower people in your life, not only students, but empower people in their life to live boldly. How many of y'all know that living in the world we live in today, you need to live boldly? Like seriously, raise your hand. Come on, no elbows, y'all. By the way, I'm gonna make y'all participate. It is not 1,000 of y'all, so I see each and every one of you, okay? So we're here, okay? So here's the thing. Tonight we're gonna have a conversation about how we can connect with one another. I say right now, we live in a society where, yes, I love social media, I love our technology, but if you think about it, connection with one another is not the same as it used to be 10, 15 years ago. How many of y'all were around when AOL first came out and it was like the best thing? You're like, oh my God, how many of you all got excited when you said connect and you heard that like connect and sound? How many of y'all I was like, we are living the good life. Like, yes, internet, right? But as we know, technology has definitely gone to a whole other place. And unfortunately, because of that, I feel like the way we used to connect with one another, we don't do anymore. So we're going to talk about ways to connect, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun. How many of y'all want to make this worth your time? Raise your hand. Yeah, and I'm going to make y'all participate a lot. At some point, y'all going to be standing up, all that fun stuff, okay? And how many of you all are looking for the door to exit? If you walk out, I'll see you, okay? All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to give you all a lot of information tonight, but I have a cheat sheet for you all, and I'm going to find out from Ms. Ross some information you'll be able to take home with you, okay? This is for, I don't care if you're 1 year old or 100 years old, this is going to make the difference. Welcome back. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. All right. And also on Zoom, I'll be throwing some questions at you all, and I'll ask you to type in the chat, and we have someone watching the chat for you, so you're going to be all good, okay? So even when I ask these questions, I want you to type in the chat. All right, so let's jump in here. How many of you all have ever met someone, and when you met them, you had a conversation, you all got to talking, it was like a good 5-minute conversation. And after that conversation, you were like, oh my gosh, I love your energy. I love your vibe. Let's be cool. How many of y'all have ever met someone like that? Yeah, hands down. How many of y'all have ever met someone, all you said was hello, all they said was hello, and after that hello, it was like, don't ever look at me again. Don't talk to me. I am not feeling it. Raise your hand if you've ever experienced that. Yeah, hands down. How many of you all have quirks about yourself? They make sense to you, but they don't make sense to everybody else. Raise your hand. Yeah, hands down. How many of you all know someone who has quirks? And when you look at them, you're like, I'm just going to pray for you. Yeah, cool. So believe it or not, all of us operate in a way where we have what I call a leadership style. And sometimes that leadership style lines up with one another. Sometimes it goes toe to toe. How many of you all, I'm talking to the parents now, how many of you all have a child? You love your child, but there are just some days where a conversation about the simplest thing can go to the left and you don't understand why it went to the left. Anybody ever have that experience? It's like, well, the sky is blue, and your child is like, well, the sky is cerulean. And you're like, but the sky is blue. And they're like, but the sky, and you all are screaming at each other about the same thing. Have you all ever had that experience? Yeah. So tonight, we're going to be able to decode why we may have those quirks with each other, okay? So here's what I'm going to ask you all to do. Here's what I want you all to do. Sit straight up in your chairs, rest both feet flat on the floor. And I'm going to ask you to trust me in this moment. And those of you who are at home, you're going to kind of get away with this. Close your eyes. Oh, no, open your eyes. I'm about to tell you why. Some of you all are like, why am I closing my eyes right now, right? So at the moment, I'm getting ready to read 4 groups of characteristics. And when I read those characteristics, afterwards, you're going to have an opportunity to choose which characteristics fit you the most. Now, I know y'all are some super parents and some super people in here, and you're going to be like, I could do all 4. But at the end of the day, I want you to choose the one that tends to fit you the most. Thumbs up if we're cool on that. Yeah? All right. Now close your eyes. And I'm getting ready to read the 4 groups. Group number 1. You analyze in your head a lot. You process things internally. You like to be prepared. If you have 2 months to get a project done, you'll try to get it done in 2 weeks. You are quality over quantity. So for you, it may not be the number of friends that you have, but you know those friends that you do have, those 1 or 2, those are your ride or dies. Also, you're detailed and accurate, and you like to get it done right the first time. You're the person, if you're at work, before you commit something to paper, you're going to research it, get all the details, figure out, make sure you have all the right answers. And then finally, you're task-oriented over people-oriented. Now, it's not that you don't like people, but when it comes down to it, you're going to focus on the task at hand. That is group number 1. Group number 2, you get it done, period. You can be trusted to accomplish a task on time. You are honest to a fault. You are that friend. If someone's breath is on 10, like you're not going to offer them a Tic Tac, you're just going to conveniently put it in their mouth. Y'all ain't laughing at none of my jokes tonight. Okay. They are goal driven, and accomplishing the goal is most important to them. And they will say in a heartbeat, well, at least I got it done. They ensure that a timeline is being met, i.e., if we can get this done now, let's go ahead and get it done now instead of putting it off. And then finally, group number 2, your motto in life is this: it is easier to apologize later than ask for permission now. That's group number 2. Group number 3, I do not know how to count tonight. Group number 3, you're one of the party people. You're the person, if you're in the kitchen and you make a piece of toast and it comes out just that perfect golden brown, you will attempt, while your kids are not around, you will attempt to twerk just to prove to yourself it's a good piece of toast. Y'all can laugh. It's okay. They're bad jokes. Just laugh at. If nothing else, just laugh and say he's horrible. Now y'all want to laugh. Okay. Here's the other thing. You're excellent at getting people excited. You can get excited easily, but you're that person at the wedding during the reception, where if people are looking like they're not getting up to dance, you're that person going to grab people and pull them on the dance floor. I love that I see some of you all smiling right now. And here's the other thing about you all are alliance builders, meaning you know how to mend fences between people. You know how to connect people very easily. And then couple more things. You're excellent at charm and being persuasive. You literally know how to turn on your charm to get what you want. If you're approaching John, can you help us on this project? And John is like, I'm sorry, I'm very busy. And then your response is, as you flip your hair, but John, this wouldn't be the same without you, John. Imagine what you can accomplish, John. You got John in tears. He's all excited about life. Here's the other thing you should know. I'm about to give you a backhanded compliment. And because you're parents, you may not do this, but I want you to listen to it fully because I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Group number 3, you're idea people. You're great at brainstorming. You come up with the best ideas. Now, you may not always follow through on those ideas, but you're really good at coming up with them. That's group number 3. Group number 4, you are warm and nurturing. Your motto in life is that you're people-oriented, and here's a firm belief of yours: no one should have their feelings hurt. Here's the other thing you should know about group number 4. You're an excellent listener. And when you listen, you're so good at listening. You'll listen and 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 listen. And the person who's talking to you will literally stop and say, are you actually hearing what I'm saying? And they're saying, yes, at 3:00, you broke up with your boyfriend. By 3:05, you called me. 3:07, I called you back. By 3:15, we met at Starbucks. You had a caramel frappuccino. I had a caramel macchiato. And we sat and talked about how he was no good for you in the first place, and you're going to have a better life after him. Do you want a hug? Also, with group number 4, you're relaxed and approachable. It's like you're in infinite chill mode. Like people are like, what's going on? You're like, life is good. You're just always in chill mode. And then finally, you have a strong network of close friends, which tends to make you one of the best team players we'll ever meet. So just to recap, group number 1, details, you analyze in your head a lot. Group number 2, you're about getting it done, period, no matter what it takes. Group number 3, you are all about the party, the turn up, and you have great ideas. And group number 4, you're warm and nurturing, and you're all about taking care of other people. Everybody open your eyes. Now comes the time for you to choose or volunteer as tribute. That didn't make any sense, but all right. So here's what's going to happen. In a moment, I'm getting ready to call your group, and if you feel it fits you the most, go ahead and stand up, okay? So group number 1, my people who analyze and process in their head a lot, go ahead and stand up for me. Awesome. You all look, they had to think about it before they actually stood up. And this is why we call them the thinkers of the group. Everybody say thinkers. Give them a round of applause. Wait, stop. That round of applause sounds like somebody cat died or something. Like, can y'all really give them a round of applause? Like, for real. There we go. All right. So, thinker. How many of y'all know somebody who's standing up? Point to them if you know someone standing up. Awesome. Good. And here's where the fun begins. We've talked about some of their positive notes. Now it's time to talk about the low down, dirty, ugly about. I'm sorry, let me be professional. It's time to talk about the areas for improvement. We're good? Okay. And also, if you feel your group number one, go ahead and type that in the chat just so we know. All right. So, in a moment, I'm getting ready to say these areas for improvement. If you're sitting next to someone who's standing up, you know that to be true about that person, go ahead and just politely point to them and say, that is so you. Or if you hear me say something and you know that is you, just point to yourself. It's okay. All right, here we go. So thinkers, you tend to overthink and overanalyze, not because you don't get it, but because you tend to be the perfectionist of the group. Here, the looks that some of y'all are giving me, I'm gonna call my mom after this, okay? Here's the other thing about thinkers. They hate, they don't dislike, they hate time constraints. If you wanna see a thinker have a meltdown, here's what you do. You walk up to them and say, hey, we got 10 days to work on this project, and then come back 30 minutes later and say, my bad, we only have 7. What you don't understand is in those 30 minutes, that thinker has plotted and planned the rest of their life for these next 10 days. They have put it in both their electronic and paper calendar to make sure everything is on point. They have decided when they're going to hug their husband, their wife, going to kiss the kids, going to walk the dog, and here you come back. You have literally just stolen 3 days of their life because they have just planned it all out. Am I knocking on the right door, thinkers? Yeah. Here's the other thing you should know about thinkers. Oh, wait, hold on. What's happening here? Don't see technology. Gotta love it. Here's the other thing you should know about thinkers. They tend to get uncomfortable at times around overly external people. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Thinkers for you only. How many of you all, when I first got up here, you were like, why is he so loud right now? Okay, do we get like an outline of what we're about to talk about? Like what's going on right here? Be okay, raise your hand if that's you. Yeah, thank you, I appreciate, put it up, be proud, don't be scared. I'm talking about you. Like, he's like, no, be okay. Here's the other thing you should know about thinkers. They don't want, they need data and information. You want to get under the skin of a thinker, here's what you do. You walk up to them and say, hey, we're going out on Saturday, then turn and walk away. If you do that, the thinker is going to stop you or throw something at the back of your neck and say, hold on, Saturday, what time are we meeting? What do I need to wear? Do I need to eat before we go out? How long are we hanging out? Are we going to go see a movie? What movie are we going to go see? Are you getting tickets off of Fandango? Am I picking you up or are you picking me up? Which thinkers, am I knocking on the right door? Yeah? Y'all give a round of applause for the thinkers. Have a seat. Group number 2, my people who get it done, period. Just go ahead and stand on up. Look, oh, I know. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry, what? You. Yeah. This is about to make so much sense. So, their leadership style, they are what we call the directors of the group. Everybody say directors. Directors. Here is the formula to a director. I'm sweating. And of course, you would say, perfect. This is so perfect, what I'm about to say. By the way, Jerica, you all on Zoom, can you still hear me? Type in the chat just to make sure, because I almost destroyed the mic. We're good? Okay, awesome. All right, directors. The formula to directors is this. By the way, how many of y'all know a director standing up? If you do, just go ahead and point to them. Go ahead and point to, yeah, there you go. Okay, so the formula to directors is this. Driven plus dominating equals extremely stubborn. Mm-hmm. And directors, go ahead and point to yourself if you know that's you. Okay. And I love you're like doing it with a smile. She's like, yes, yes. Here's the other thing. Directors, you can be impatient and insensitive at times. Let's say we're working on a project with you and I come down with something like, I don't know, Ebola. And I come to you and I'm like, I'm about to die. Your response is going to be, so did you complete your part of the project? Yes or no? You're going to say it with a straight face. And then as I'm coughing up along, you're going to say, look, give me your laptop, give me your password. I'll dial 911. The ambulance will come pick you up. But we're getting this project in on time. Here's the other thing you should know about directors. And actually, I really want you to hear what I'm saying. Directors, sometimes you all forget to smell the roses along the way. And I'm going to say this, having been a manager, and I learned this lesson, fortunately, but unfortunately, while I was a project manager at Boeing. And I had a team of people, and I was so focused on the end result that as people were having small wins along the way, I overlooked those small wins. And because I overlooked those small wins without me even realizing in a short period of time, I had a team full of people who felt undervalued, unappreciated, and unseen. And our productivity went way to the left until I addressed that. So I'm saying, so let's say you're working on a fundraiser, right? And you have somebody on your team who comes to you and they're like, oh my God, you don't understand. My aunt has never donated money before, and she has finally donated. And you're like, that's awesome. How much did your aunt donate? And the response is, oh my God, my aunt donated $5. And you're looking like, so we still have $9,995 to go, right? So that's where we have to be careful. Here's the other thing. If you want to see a director shut down real quick, start giving them a whole bunch of details and information. All they want to know is the results. They don't want to know how you got there. They just want to know the results. Now, our thinkers are all about the details. Directors are all about the results, okay? Here's the other thing you should know about directors is this. And if you know this to be true about yourself, just go ahead and point. You all tend to be a lot more demanding than some of the other people. Give a round of applause for the directors. Go ahead, have a seat. Come on, party people. Group number 3, stand on up. Let me see you. Oh, this whole row right here. Okay. Notice they're the only people who cheered for themselves when they stood up. Okay. All right. So group number 3, you're what we call the socializers of the group. Everybody say socializers. Number 1, at times they don't take things seriously. Oh, did you say, oh yeah, right? Here's the other thing you should know about socializers. Their motto in life, they may not ever say it, but they live by this sometimes. They may not ever say it, but their motto in life is procrastinate. We can fix that later. We'll be good later. Here's the other thing you should know about them. They hate being alone. When I say they hate being alone, let's say they live right next door to CVS. Oh, you just gave up on me. So here's the thing. Very good. My question to you is, what made you stand up? Now, and actually, I'm glad we're having this moment because for each of the groups, it does not necessarily mean that everything I point to is you. Okay, here's the other thing you should know about socializers. They do not verify information before taking a risk. Now, risk taking is not a bad thing, but let's say you take a thinker and a socializer, and I'll just say teenagers, into the mountains. They come to a cliff. When they get to this cliff, the thinker is going to look over, assess the whole situation, stand back up, and say, I will dial 911 when you die. Whereas the socializer is going to get to that cliff, gets in, they're going to see a small little bush and say, oh, I can stick that. And without warning, will literally jump off the cliff, end up on the bottom of the cliff with a broken hip, and they are Here we go. Last group number 4, my warm and nurturing people. Go ahead and stand on up. Y'all, Give them a round of applause. These are what we call the relators of the group. Everybody say relators. So as warm and nurturing and as much as they look out for people, there's a little bit of a dark side. And here it is. Number one, they're adverse to risk. They're not going to randomly take a risk just to take a risk. If they're going to take a risk, they're going to calculate, recalculate the recalculation. And if it looks like it's going to hurt their mind, body, soul, they're not going to do it. They're going to be like, and I'm good. Thank you. Have a good day. Here's the other thing you should know about them. If they are hurt, you will be the last person to know. Why? Because they're very good at hiding their true emotions, which tends to make them professionals at what we call passive aggressive behavior. Let's say you're working on a project with a relator and they've given all these ideas and everyone's like, okay, no, we're not going to do that. But the idea that chosen to them is just stupid. And then but here's the thing, they're still going to show up at the event. But when they show up at the event, this is how they're going to show up. They're going to walk in like this. This is the stupidest thing I've ever been. Hi, Bob. Bob's an idiot. Like, literally, that's how they're going to be. Here's the other thing you should know about relators. You want to see relators have a meltdown? You know what's coming. Start changing stuff at the last minute. When you start, like, you can have a whole plan laid out. And if the night of something goes to the left and you start changing stuff, they're going to be like, wait, when did we have this conversation? Was there an email that I didn't get? Why are we changing? Can we hold hands and sing Kumbaya? Like, this is not working for me, okay? Give a round of applause for the relators. Now, a couple of things I want to give you all, just have a little fun. Let's go ahead and name each group and give them what I call a spirit animal. Thinkers. Your spirit animal would be the owl. You're seen as very like smart, wisdom. However, no, I'm gonna go into that later. Directors. Y'all are known as the lions of the group. You are a Leo, congratulations. Remember this conversation when I talk about the next thing, you're gonna wish you never said that, okay? Socializers. Y'all are the peacocks of the group. Y'all love to show off. It's all about showing off. And then finally, relators, you are the koalas of the group, okay? How many of you all would like to know how each group acts out when things don't go their way? Anybody would like to know? Yeah. Here we go. Thinkers. When conflict happens, when things kind of go to the left, you are very good at standing right there, but going invisible. You literally know how to disconnect in a way where people almost forget that you're there. Lions, directors. We call you lions for a reason, because when things don't go your way, you go into tyrant mode. And when you go into tyrant mode, you're like, why did you do this? I don't understand. We had a deadline. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, hey, do you want to go to Outback? And then the person is looking at you like, you just ripped my head off. What do you, I don't have a mouth because you took my head, right? But literally, they know how to compartmentalize very well. Socializers. The best way I could put this, how you all act out is this. Picture it. Walmart. You know it's about to go to the left, right? Walmart. Holiday season, you're going past the toy aisle, and there's a little kid in the cart saying, Mommy, Daddy, I want this, I want that. And Mom and Dad are like, no, Billy, you can't have it. And Billy is like, and throws a tantrum. Socializers, y'all throw tantrums. However, because you're older, you're way more sophisticated about it. So let's say you're trying to give ideas for a party, holiday party. You're like, well, I was thinking about... Well, what if, oh, now you want to talk to me? Now you want to talk. Okay, because I was trying to get my answer earlier, but y'all would ignore me, right? So they throw tantrums like that. Relators, you all are very interesting. And I say you're interesting because people can go at you, but it's like water off a duck's back. However, mess with someone that you love or you care about, you're going to go from cute, cuddly koala to killer koala. And literally, you all take the weight of the world on things. You all cannot make it through a news broadcast without getting in your feels. Let's say you're watching the news and all of a sudden it's like Brookfield Zoo, panda dies. And the relator is sitting there like, how could that happen? Were they not feeding the panda right? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand. Like, can't you? I need a moment. But that's wrong, y'all. That panda did not have to die. So, now, I know I said a lot of stuff, and all of it may not fit, and that's perfect. Now, let me ask you all a question. Thinkers, raise your hand. Thinkers. What will you say your second leadership style would be that you lean into? A couple of you. What would you say your second leadership style is that you would lean into? Would it be director, socializer, or relator? Relator. Director. Got it. Okay. Directors, raise your hand. What would you say your second one is? Thinker. Thinker. Relator. Okay. Got it. Ooh, you are like two ends of the. I can get you together and pray for you at the same time. Okay. Socializers. What would you say your second is? Director. Relator. Got it. And relators, what would you say your second is? Socializer. So y'all know how to be like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing that you're here. Let's turn up. Hey, okay, got it. And by the way, if I'm screaming in y'all ear, I do apologize. I don't realize how loud I am. I am so sorry. So here is a trick question for you all. What do you believe my leadership style is? Raise your hand if you believe I am a thinker. Okay, so y'all just think I'm dumb. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay. I'm so glad I'm confident. Raise your hand if you believe I'm a director. Okay, two people. Why do you believe I'm a director? Just shout it out. I'm in control. Okay. Who else? Raise your hand if you believe. She said I was thinking about it. You thinker. All right. Raise your hand if you believe I am a socializer. Why you have to have that look on your face, though? She's like, duh. And of course, it's the directors that think I'm a socializer. Why do you think I'm a socializer? Oh, I've been turning up since I opened my mouth. Oh, what about you?
How you're able to be comfortable up there as a public speaker,
Okay.
not sweating.
I am sweating. You don't see the sweat?
No.
That is so amazing because I'm like really sweating bacon grease up here. It's bad. Like, seriously. Okay. Did you raise your hand? Oh, okay. Got it. All right, cool. And last one, relator. How many of you all believe I am a relator? Okay. Why? So let's go ahead and get it out the way. At the core of who I am not a director, even though I learned being a director at some points, especially with me running two businesses and overseeing a nonprofit organization, I cannot always be like in the heart space, or I can't always be turning up, or I can't always be in the details of it. Stuff needs to get done. And so that was one thing that I literally had to teach myself to make sure if we're setting this deadline, we're going to work towards this deadline. At the core of who I am not a socializer. Now, I know how to turn up, and I know how to have fun. And if you've been at any of I think the only Glenbard school I have not spoke at yet has been here at West. I speak there tomorrow, or speak here tomorrow. But ask if your child has seen me, ask them, do I turn up? Absolutely. But could you imagine if I got up here and just walked up here and just said, Good evening. You would have went to the garbage can and walked out the door for real, right? Right. So at the core of who I am, I know that, especially when you're dealing with people and parents, I'm gonna say this is a side note. You are no longer competing against other people. You're competing against social media. The entertainment. It's the microwave. We used to call it the microwave. I remember, this is how old I am. I remember when the microwave first came out and it was like a big thing. It was like, oh my God, but now we have the air fryer. So boom. Raise your, we covered director, we covered socializer. So that leaves me between thinker and relator. So I want to hear from you all. Raise your hand if you believe I'm a thinker. So y'all still think I'm stupid. Okay, got it. All right, thank you so much. So at the core of who I am a hardcore relator. And though I do go into my thinker mode, as a matter of fact, I got into Illinois on Monday. So Sunday, I literally just wrapped up writing my 6th book called Shut Up, Just Speak, which is really just a book for people, not for people who want to become professional speakers, but for people who actually want to get over that fear of just simply getting in front of a couple of people and running a meeting or doing a presentation. So the reason why I'm bringing that up, because I spoke in Boise, Idaho, that's where I was, on Friday morning. And I said, I am not leaving my hotel room until I complete writing this book. I'm so glad housekeeping did not come in there, because I had all types of sticky notes on the wall, like literally a wall covered in sticky notes. And literally, I just went ahead and just got it done. But I could be very detail oriented when needed for things like writing a book. At the core of who I am a relator. I'm very heart driven. You could talk about me all day and I'm just gonna go find a place to go get some chicken wings and I'm gonna be good, right? But talk about not the obvious, because if you talk about my mom, we're gonna fight anyway. Talk about my best friend. Talk about someone who's close to me, then I'm ready to get very personal with you. Also, I do tend to be passive aggressive at times. You should know. We've had moments. Just saying, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up, y'all, and I want to connect all of this. When you're very clear about the people in your life and what their leadership style is, there's a level of connection that you can have that you may not necessarily have had before. How many of y'all have somebody in your life, you love them, but it seems like whenever y'all talk, it's just like oil and water all the time? Yeah? So I want you all to know that sometimes, so first of all, this entire time, I've been up here, I've been doing what's called style flexing, meaning I have had moments when I've given you details. I've had moments when I've kind of driven the conversation. I've had moments when I cracked a joke that y'all did not laugh at. I've had moments where I came from the heart. You want to be the type of person that can flex in between the four, especially with who you're communicating with. How many of you all work in an office? How many of you all, you're in meetings sometimes, and sometimes you just want to flip the table because it seems like, hey, good to see y'all. It seems like things just aren't connected, right? So when you're working with your child, or if you're working with your parents, start to ask yourself the question, what is their leadership style? Let me give you something. How many of y'all have ever heard of the golden rule? Anyone? The golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. That's noble. However, there is a flaw to that. And the flaw is this. If you're my best friend and you're a thinker and I'm a socializer and I treat my best friend the way I want to be treated, the interaction is going to go like this. Yo, what's up? How you doing? Let's go. Y'all, she looks so uncomfortable right now. But that's the golden rule. And can you all see how that can cause conflict before connection even happens? Here's the thing, the platinum rule. The platinum rule is this: treat others the way they want to be treated. I'm going to give you all a couple of tips, and we do have a handout for you all that breaks all this down. And on the handout is also going to let you know how each leadership style likes to be approached. The platinum rule is this: if I know my best friend is a thinker and I'm a socializer, I'm going to approach my friend chill mode. If I know we're going somewhere, I'm about to give her all the details. And after I give her all the details, I'm going to come up with a follow-up question and say, what other information do you need? That is the platinum rule. Directors, what would you all like to know? I mean, how would you all like people to approach you? I want to hear from y'all.
Hey,
Yeah, you need that energy, right? Do you prefer people to be straight up with you and not do a whole bunch of sugarcoating? Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. Socializers, how do you all like people to approach you? Very good. Relators, how do you all want people to approach you? So you don't want me coming at you like this. You don't want me coming at you like this, but you want me coming at you like this. Yeah? So it's like in between, right? So as you all look at that cheat sheet, and by the way, Generation Leadership, that is the leadership training program where I go to schools, I work with staff, I work with faculty. I've actually done it for a couple of Fortune 500 companies. We go in, we do a major training for like 6 hours. And let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. So all of that information is broken down. So here's why I want you all to have this information. As you go home, look at the people who are closest to you and ask yourself the question, what is their leadership style? And if I kind of know what their leadership style is, I need to approach them from there. Let me give you a couple of things, and we're going to take a couple of questions. If you're not sure on what someone's leadership style is, believe it or not, they are talking their leadership style all the time. How they talk, they're going to give it to you. So what I'm going to do is talk, and you all are going to tell me which leadership style you think it is. So you all are going to say, how is your day going? I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. You all are going to ask me, how is your day going? And then I'll respond, and you'll tell me what leadership style you think it is. 1, 2, 3. Can y'all not sound like we're at Elmo's funeral, please? Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. My day is going great. How about yours? Who is that? Thinker, socializer, director, or relator? It's relator. Relators, believe it or not, as heart-driven as they are, they almost get uncomfortable talking about themselves. They will turn the conversation around on you quick. They're like, oh my God, my heart is breaking. But let's talk about your heart. Right? Okay. Get ready. 1, 2, 3. It's been good. Like this morning, I got up. I had to deal with the AT&T outage. My phone was not working. And then I ended up going over to my first stop was Glenbard North. And then after that, I went to Glenbard Directions. And then after that, I had a couple of conference calls that I had to handle. And then after that, I had to make sure that I was in the car by like 5:45 to head this way to make sure that I got here on time. What leadership style is that? Socializer. Thinker. Raise your hand if you think it's thinker. Hands down, raise your hand if you think it's socializer. Hands down, believe it or not, it's going to be a thinker. Why? They're giving you all these extra details. We just asked you, how was your day going? We didn't ask what you had for breakfast. We'll ask you directly, okay? All right, so get ready. 1, 2, 3. It's been great. Got to this training. We're getting ready to wrap it up in a few minutes. I think it's been a great day. Director, very straight, boom. And let's try this again. I may trick you, I may not. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, we turned up. Let me tell you that Art Jackson, he is bald, but he is a bootleg Kevin Hart. What leadership style? Socializer. Let me break it down real quick. Thinkers are always going to talk in details. Directors are going to talk in results. Socializers are going to talk in terms of fun. And relators are going to talk in terms of you or the heart. So when you go home, listen to those people and start to see if you can make that connection. All right? Questions. And by the way, if you're on the Zoom and you have a question for me, please go ahead and type it in now. She's going to ask me the question and I will get it answered for you. What do I want to say to students who have not heard me and I'd like them to know? This week is all about living your life well, but it does not end in this week. Living your life well is about living your life well from this point moving forward. That means don't be scared to destroy your box, meaning don't let your past hold you back from your future. Don't be scared to do you unapologetically. Stop dumbing down who you are to make other people comfortable. And finally, don't be scared to get out here and make a difference because somebody's waiting for you in the world. That's what I want to say. Any other questions? Any questions on Zoom? Don't be scared. By the way, if your kid comes home and they're like, I'm not scared, that was literally me telling them, don't be scared, right? Yeah. And we have fun too. Like we turned up, right? Yes.
Something that you have a genetic propensity for? And
I would say that they are acquired. And I'll give you a very strong example of it. I'm a mama's boy, right? And my sister and my mom are extremely close. My mom, hardcore relator. I modeled a lot of how she interacted with people the same way. My sister, though she modeled my mom, it was almost like I'm not going to be like mom. So my sister is a director. When you look at the quadrant on your sheet, you'll notice that director is up here and relator is in the opposite corner. By the way, the opposites, if you don't understand each other, you're very combative. But if you understand each other, you can be each other's best support. That makes sense? My mom and my sister, literally just a couple of months ago, we were on a Zoom call because, I live in Los Angeles, they live in Madison, and they were going at it. And they couldn't understand why they were going at it with each other. And I said, wait a minute, let me introduce leadership styles. And then when I broke them down and what their leadership style was, they were able to understand each other totally different. And now they're able to have conversations that they weren't able to have just a year ago. And I think it's extremely important. And I say that because my mom is getting ready to have a surgery in March. And it's going to take all of us to hold hands and lock hands and understand each other and make sure that she's understood as well. So great question. Thank you. Who else? Any questions on Zoom by chance? Coffee. No, honestly, what keeps me positive, and I'm just going to be real with you, with everything that's going on in the world today, it's hard to stay positive. What keeps me positive, great question, by the way, what keeps me positive is knowing that the work that I'm doing in my life, both on stage and off stage, is having an impact in somebody's life. Do I have my days where I'm not as positive? Absolutely. Do I have my days where I don't want to get out of the bed? I don't want to be transformed. I don't want to be a leader. I don't feel like being positive. Absolutely. But then I remember that there are people who are looking towards me, whether it's my 8-year-old niece or whether it's my mom. And I get to kind of pull it together in that moment, make somebody smile. And when I make somebody smile, that has me stay positive. So thank you, whoever asked that question online. Awesome. Who else? So I'm gonna go 1, 2. Did you raise your hand? 3. Oh, Lord. Okay.
Do you see these things changing, or do you see like the socializer changing as our?
They will change. They will change. There's one thing for us to be surrounded. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm about to go old school. Y'all probably about to look at me like I'm speaking Japtalian. But we used to have this thing called MySpace. And on MySpace, it was like, hey, this is me. This is where I am on MySpace. And actually, our traits would kind of feed into what showed up on our MySpace. But then as times change, whether it be things social media wise or within the family or within the business, for me, I'm just going to say it real quick. When I first started out as an entrepreneur, and that was back in 2005, I was a hardcore socializer. And I hired other socializers. And we get on a conference call and we would have the best calls ever. We were going to change the world, and then we would get nothing done. And then at some point, I realized I was paying checks to people to be my hype men and women. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then as I got deeper into this work, then I shifted. So yes, it will shift. Great question. Number 2.
You are very well spoken, and like how can somebody like me acquire that trait? Because I feel like sometimes I know what I want to say.
It's all good. So here's the thing. I'm going to say something that is going to make your heart drop. You ready for it?
Okay.
You're going to have to practice. And when I say practice, and it's actually something I talk about in the book, when you practice with people you know, love, and trust initially. Do no less than 2 people if you can. Do no more than 4. Give a speech, give a delivery, whatever it is. And then after that, ask for feedback. It's going to take you getting into it. And I'm going to tell you now, my first 5 years of doing this, I sucked. But no, y'all don't understand. I was doing an 8th grade. I'll never forget it. My life changed this day. Romeoville High School. Speaking there, I was doing a freshman orientation, and it was an audience full of 8th graders who hadn't even become freshmen yet. And imagine me, I was in a suit jacket, I was in slacks, and I was in a turtleneck. It was horrible. And I'm up there and I'm trying to talk like everybody else and blah, blah, blah. And this 8th grader in the audience screams, "Boo!" Can I be real with y'all? I have never wanted to fight a child ever in my life until that moment. And then that number increased because after he did it, y'all know what happened. 20 other kids joined in. But here's the thing. It's going to take you to put yourself out there. And the reason why I'm saying that, I was too busy trying to be somebody else in that moment. And after that, that was the greatest gift to me, because that's when I realized me just being like this, who I am, is worth being on stage. Here's the other thing when it comes to public speaking. Don't try to be perfect. Perfect is overrated. Perfect to me is a heightened version of being fake and phony, because when you're perfect, that means you have nowhere to go. And let me tell you something. When you stumble over your words, when you don't get it right, people see you as more human and they'll listen to you more versus you having it all together. Okay, does that help? Cool. Do me a favor, sit down and stand up at the same time. No, for real, try to stand up and sit down at the same time. That's standing, that's sitting. Yeah, here's the thing. Trying is like standing up and sitting down at the same time. There is no trying. Either you are or you are not. You did. You got to own that. Okay, cool. All right. Yes. Let me tell you why. As a socializer, some people love hardcore socializers. Some people run from socializers. They're like, oh my God, he's loud, I'm going this way, right? But now here's the thing, ultimately you get to make the choice, but my thing is this. The larger of an impact you wanna have, the more you wanna bounce between the 4. When I speak, even today, when I gave an hour-long speech, I'm gonna tell you this, I bounce between socializer, relator, director, and thinker. My whole thought process is this. If I'm just in socializer mode, I'm only reaching 25% of that audience.